Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome to the Odds Breakers, number one place for shared, sharp betting information.
Welcome back to podcast 83 of 2025. I'm your host, Kiev. You can follow me on Twitter at OBKiev. Also, the Oddsbreakers. Follow us on social media / the Oddsbreakers. This episode is being brought to you by FanDuel Sports, a proud partner of the NFL. If you like sport, the Oddsbreakers and benefit from our premium plays, please visit theoddsbreakers.com, click shop, become a member, pick any. For winning cappers, you get the premium plays before the line moves. You can also support us on patreon.com, and if nothing else, please visit the Oddsbreakers and become a free picks and Telegram subscriber. We are back after a crazy weekend of football. Man, it was really good in the college side. Not so much betting. I was down a few units. Just should have took the money line with Iowa, minus 125 instead of laying the 1.5, and lost by half point. It's kind of tough. It was a swing game for me. It was my largest bet. And I just knew that dang coaching spot just comes to jinx us. It causes Gronowski to miss all of his 2-point conversions and all that stuff. But it is what it is, man. Was also pretty pissed at Texas State. And now they're choke. It's like every week they have a choke. But NFL was okay, minus the teasers. The teaser pushed, but some people's teasers lost. So I'm probably going to count it as a loss and instead go 3 and 4. It was great on the sides. My total didn't hit. Hit a bunch of sides. Went 4-1 in the Circa contest again. And I don't know. It seems to be a cyclical thing. Do good in one, do not so good in the other. Need 2 big weeks in both. And hopefully we can wrap that up. I am number one in sports capping, at least, in the NFL. And hopefully in college football we can get back up to number one where we were earlier this year. But anyways, we're talking college, and it started out with a big upset, 2 pretty big upsets, really. It was Miami losing to Louisville on Friday, losing outright. Carson Beck choked it away and threw that final pick. That kind of screwed him for Heisman. Minnesota, 24-6, a big home dog, plus 7.5. Didn't even have to sweat that one. That was easy. And then, Then you get into the big day where Wisconsin got destroyed by Ohio State. 8 quarters in a row they haven't scored. Freaking Chris McIntosh, the AD, the athletic director, wrote a big letter to all boosters and fans and saying to stick with us, blah, blah, blah. Man, I don't know how fickle it can just last like this. Stick with us? Well, I don't want to stick with you, McIntosh. You're a joke. You know? I mean, they're giving Fickle one more year, clearly, after that letter. But my God, real tough to be a Badger fan right now. I know it's Ohio State, but dude, you can't even score a point against Iowa and then Ohio State. That's pretty bad for your program. Vandy taking care of business against LSU, making Brian Kelly look like, well, Brian Kelly. A lot of people on Duke. Everyone was on Duke, thinking Georgia Tech's the fraud, which they are. Well, Duke lost. Georgia Tech won. I mean, the truth is that, you can look at Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech and call them frauds, but the quarterbacks are winners. They're winners. That's how it is. And BYU's kind of like that too, sneaking by 24-21, which was a highlight of our spot too. We hit BYU. But I think it's time to bring on the fade train on the BYU side, if you know what I mean. That is not sustainable, in my opinion, for the way they play football. So here we are, big week coming up in college football. What am I missing? Kentucky should have beat Texas. Dude, get that 4th down if you're going to go for it in overtime. They would have won, most likely. Oh, my God. Super choke. Auburn, Missouri went to overtime, and Missouri scored the touchdown. No extra point needed. Auburn choked out right away like they have been doing. Oklahoma, no problem at South Carolina. And Alabama takes care of Tennessee. And we have something to discuss at the end in our next segment about that game. Georgia against Ole Miss. Wow, 17-0. Georgia outscored them in the 4th. Jeez, Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin. What a choke job on you. 17 points scored to nothing on the last quarter. Man, that's not good. NFL was very NFL-y. It's questionable calls as usual. The Chiefs look really dangerous. I mean, truth is two things could be true. The Chiefs benefit from things, and they are also a very good team right now. I think I have them number one in my power ratings as of now. I mean, we'll see what happens when Baltimore's healthy and Buffalo looks better and healthier on D. But, I adjust for injuries in my power ratings. I think people should do that. I think that there's a lot of parity in the NFL. There's not a lot of teams that are great. There's a lot of pretty good and some really bad and a lot of pretty bad, I mean, that's kind of how it is. It's a weird power ranking this season. So, you look at games like Atlanta at the night. Atlanta, everyone thought they were looking great. Let's bet them to win the NFC. Well, lose to the Niners. The Niners are a better coached team, and that's why I stayed away from the side. I had them part of the teaser, but that teaser side lost. So it just depends where you get your teasers, but it doesn't push in a lot of books when one side loses no more. I had the Chiefs in my Survivor. I feel stupid now because, well, a lot of people picked the Chiefs, and also the other ones I considered, like the Patriots and the Bears, also hit. It's like if you're going to pick the big favorite, you hope for some upsets. You didn't get none of that. And holy cow, did the Giants let that one go at Denver, and did the Cardinals let that go at home against the Packers? Man, Jacoby Brissett's good until the very end of games, it seems. I don't know. It's interesting how well the Cardinals have been covering for us, though, and just not hitting the side, not hitting the money line, I should say. The side was right the whole time until they lost the game. Coming down to the cold myself, but big NFL week coming up this week, too, and lots to go. I already made a couple plays, but more will be made throughout the week. The good, the bad, and the ugly from the weekend. Starting with the good, Thursday Night Football. Man, Bengals versus Pittsburgh Steelers. That game was awesome. Lots of back and forth. Terrible defense. I mean, anybody watching that game was pretty pleased just with all the action. Most people are action junkies when it comes to football. I also love a defensive game, of course, but that was cool. T. Higgins going down properly in that game was cool too. That was smart of him. I love to see smart players doing smart things. I mean, there was over a minute left. Rodgers was going to score. It don't matter. Great job going down, running the clock, kicking the field goal. That's how you play football. John Mateer looking great at Oklahoma. I was like, wow, he's back. UCF destroying people. Now UCF's good all of a sudden. Scott Frost, interesting. Northwestern too, smoking Purdue. Everyone was on Purdue. USC versus Notre Dame. That was awesome because the books got middled. It ended up at 10. I like that. Coach fired Angles was awesome this week, minus the Tennessee Titans. I guess the coach revenge angle that we discussed last week was a little bit bigger about that. Undefeated frauds, Georgia Tech and BYU. They're good for now. Alex Mortensen, the UAB coach, winning outright against Memphis after Dilfer got fired. Oh my God, that's a statement from that team. Jesus, good job, Alex. And his dad died, obviously, and really sad for him. And he probably did that for his dad. That is just so cool. Matt Stafford. You're damn good. Matt Stafford, considering MVP right now. Shop it. Numbers ain't great, but man, just shop it. I mean, anything over 11-1, 12-1, maybe is in the realm. Brandon Aubrey, field goals for the Cowboys. He's constantly hitting over 60 this year. What a great field goal kicker. And Tyler Warren and the Colts. Holy cow. That was awesome. That was absolutely incredible. Tyler Warren is just a beast of a tight end. Mario Cristobal and Carson Beck going to the bad. Whoa, guys. You don't have no room for error now. if you want to make those college football playoffs above some SEC and Big Ten teams. Damon Williams choke. You're done for MVP too. Sad. I had $100 on 150 to 1. So boo. Targeting on Utah. I don't know what the hell was that. That helped my BYU win, but that changed momentum of the game and gave BYU a touchdown that was much needed. So I thought that was a horrible call, and I will call it that it went my way this time because I want to make sure people hear that. Texas Tech, no Morton and quarterback. That was bad. They lost, and now they don't have a lot of margin for error, and Morton wasn't playing, and I can tell they were better than ASU just without a quarterback. Texas State choke. That was awful. Blake Shapen's last-minute interception. How do you like that? Bryce Young, he's been awesome in the NFL. Wow, dude's a quarterback right now. Are the Jags also in the bag? Actually, why did I put Bryce Young in the bad? He's in the good. I guess the teams he plays, he makes them look bad, right? And then the Raiders. The Raiders getting blown out by the Chiefs. I mean, making me feel good about my survivor, but that was like the only side. Well, no, I lost Jacksonville too. That was one of the few sides that I lost in the NFL. I bet the Cowboys late. I was like, wow, nobody's playing on the Commanders. Cowboys was the side. Now for the ugly. Nebraska scoring 6 points at Minnesota. 6 freaking points. That is absolutely awful. Texas State, their choke. I guess they're going to make my bad and ugly. Fuck you, Texas State. Iowa's 2-point conversion attempts were ugly because you're sitting there -1.5 and you lose by a half point. That was just ugly for me, man. Great for Penn State bettors. Florida State losing to Stanford. That made Miami's win less attractive. Wow, that was ugly. Old Pac-12 coaches in the Big Ten, like Jed Fish. I mean, sorry, you're not doing it yet. I love you. I'm not downgrading him just yet, but Jonathan Smith from Michigan State, I got to downgrade him. And Lincoln Riley in the Big Ten. Oh, it's just kind of looking bad with these old Pac-12 coaches. I guess Danny Lanning is more of a little new to say that, but who knows. Pass interference on Denver at the end of the game just to give the Giants the go-ahead touchdown when you're covering your teasers. What the hell was that? I mean, Jesus. The PI on them. That was not a PI call, dude. You're just trying to manipulate the game. That was BS. Lane's choke. Lane Kiffin, man, just choked that one away to Ole Miss. And then finally, the worst of them all, the worst of the ugly, Tennessee versus Alabama. They score a touchdown. Ref calls it down, doesn't see shit. He's clearly over the line. Game ends. They don't review it. Massive, bad beat to the over.
Blondie, hey! You realize we might be risking our lives?
Yeah. And if I get killed, you'll never get your hands on all that beautiful money.
All right, now it's time for a little college football week 8 misleading final scores. And Delaware got outgained by FIU 456 to 388, yet lost 38 to 25. The 2-0 turnover ratio plucked the Hens. New Mexico State outgained Liberty 388 to 293, yet lost 30 to 27. They won the turnover battle 3-2, but horrible red zone efficiency got them. San Jose State outgained Utah State 534 to 461, yet lost 30 to 25. A 1-0 turnover ratio and poor fourth down efficiency got the Spartans. Bowling Green outgained Central Michigan 310 to 276, yet lost 27 to 6. 2-0 turnover ratio, terrible red zone efficiency got the Georges, the Fighting Eddie Georges. Duke outgained Georgia Tech 441 to 376, yet lost 27 to 18. A 1-0 turnover ratio and 8 penalties with poor red zone got the Dukies. Texas State outgained Marshall 558 to 466, yet lost 40 to 37 in overtime. A 3-1 turnover ratio. Huge choke by G.J. Kinney seals the deal. Akron outgained Ball State 419 to 374, yet lost 42 to 28. Equal turnovers, but 9 penalties and bad red zone got the Zips. Georgia State outgained Georgia Southern 444 to 420, yet lost 41 to 24. 1-0 turnover ratio, poor fourth down, and 15 penalties got the Panthers. Tennessee outgained Alabama 410 to 373, yet lost 37 to 20. Equal turnovers at 1, but 4 sacks and 10 penalties got the Vols. Utah gained BYU 470 to 368, yet lost 24 to 21. A 2-0 turnover ratio, 10 penalties, and horrible targeting calls got the Utes, or one targeting call anyway. Florida State outgained Stanford 444 to 283, yet lost 20 to 13. They won the turnover battle, but had bad special teams. 13 penalties and poor red zone got the semis. Now it's time for college football betting spots. Week 9. There are a few here. Letdown spots. BYU after beating rival. Utah in the Holy War at Iowa State is definitely one. Vanderbilt could be flat hosting Missouri after the big win. Stanford could be slow after beating Florida State when they go to Miami. Louisville could be soft hosting Boston College after the big Miami win. Arizona State could be tired after the big Texas Tech win hosting Houston. SMU at Wake Forest after the big Clemson win, and UConn could be flat at Rice after the big Boston College win. I don't like how I wrote that. I'll have to fix that. Get up spots. Utah better wake up hosting Colorado after the loss to BYU. Miami might smash Stanford after they lost to Louisville. LSU better get up hosting A&M after the big loss to Vandy. Tennessee better show up at Kentucky after the big Bama loss. And Memphis better get up for South Florida after the horrible UAB loss. Look ahead spots. Vanderbilt looking past Missouri to Texas? Maybe. I'd say that's slightly possible. Cincinnati looking past Baylor to Utah is there. Cincinnati in a freaking sandwich, in my opinion. SMU looking past Wake Forest to Miami for sure. Short week. Georgia State, with only 5 days rest, hosting South Alabama, is the only real short week without other people having short weeks. Long week, Colorado off the bye at Utah, Illinois off the bye at Washington, Iowa State off the bye hosting BYU, Kennesaw State off the bye at FIU, Louisiana Tech off the bye hosting Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee State off the bye at Delaware, Missouri State off the bye at New Mexico State, Navy off the bye hosting FAU, NC State off the bye at Pitt, Virginia Tech off the bye hosting Cal. Wake Forest off the bye hosting SMU. Ooh, I love that spot, Wake Forest. Western Michigan off the bye at Miami, Ohio. Fresno State off the bye hosting San Diego State, who has an extra day at least. We got Miami with an extra day of rest at Stanford. Louisville with an extra day hosting Boston College. Nebraska with an extra day hosting Northwestern. Minnesota with an extra day at Iowa. Tulsa with an extra 2 days hosting Temple, and Utah State with an extra day at New Mexico. NFL, misleading final scores from Week 7. Dallas only outgained Washington 409 to 341, yet won 44 to 22. A 2-0 turnover ratio, bad fourth down, got the commies, and an injury to quarterback Jaden Daniels. Some other injuries to monitor there too. The Cardinals outgained the Packers 330 to 262, yet lost 27 to 24. Make that 23. A 1-0 turnover ratio and bad fourth down efficiency got the Birds. Lots of Chargers yards were garbage time, so I'm not even talking about that. Indianapolis had control of that game. I will say Indy's D is a little sus. The Dolphins outgained the Browns 219 to 206, yet lost 31 to 6, 4-0 turnover ratio, poor coaching, and bad red zone got the Sea Dogs. I feel like Dolphins are Sea Dogs, right? The Jaguars outgained the Rams 358 to 271, yet lost 37 to 5. Equal turnovers at 0, but poor fourth down conversions and one-sided officiating got the Jags. NFL Week 8 betting spots. Letdown spots. The Bengals could be soft after beating the Steelers on Thursday. And they're hosting the Jets, so I should have said that. The Cowboys could be distracted at the Broncos after beating the division rival, the Commanders. Get up spots. The Ravens better get up hosting the Bears after that horrible start to the season and injuries. The Bills better wake up at Carolina after a rough last 2 games with losses. The Falcons also better get right hosting Miami. A lot of injuries in those 3. Look at spots. The Chiefs could look past the Commanders to the Bills. I mean, it could happen. Could be one of those soft games for the Chiefs. I'm wondering who's starting quarterback for the Commanders. Short week. The Texas after The Texans after Monday night hosting the 49ers, but they're at least coming off, the bye this week. The Buccaneers after Monday night at the Saints. Long week, the Steelers after Thursday night hosting the hosting the Packers. The Steelers, long wait for the Aaron Rodgers revenge game this weekend. It's on Sunday Night Football. That's going to be awesome. And the Bengals after Thursday night hosting the Jets. Now it's time for our college football free play that we're going to give out here. We're going back to Iowa State, baby. Iowa State -2.5. That's what you can get right now. It's in plenty of books at -2.5, and that's what I like. There's some buyback. I got it at a better number, but so what? Horrible spot for BYU. BYU's outgained. They got that touchdown based upon a really bad call, I thought. But here it is. BYU has been fraudulent from a statistic standpoint. They can't throw the ball all that well. Iowa State's defense has been pretty good against the run. Rushing play EPA is 32nd. So I feel like Iowa State can kind of slow them down, especially at home. And how do you not love Iowa State coming off the bye into a letdown spot with BYU? This is a massive spot for the Clones to get right and a spot to try to stick it to BYU after the really rough and tough game that they faced with Utah. This is a battered up BYU team. I think Iowa State is the right side. We're going to take Iowa State -2.5 for 2 stars. BYU.
You are fake news.
Now it's time for a little fantasy football with our guy, D Nasty. Fantasy football time, week 8. D Nasty's back. We're a little later, about an hour later today, because Dave and I had a fantasy basketball draft. And so we had to make it a little bit later, spur of the moment. Apologize for anybody that wanted to ask a trade question or something. Notice we weren't there, but here we are. And Dave, 2 games going on today. We have a little bit of a injury situation too in the Lions, but that's how it is. Kind of these games kind of suck tonight, don't they?
Yeah, not too funny games to watch tonight. They're both kind of a blowout. Seattle's actually really handling Houston tonight, which I was kind of shocked. But yeah, actually too, the Nick Chubb hasn't looked that good tonight. Anytime Woody Marks has had the ball, I really liked him. As I've said in previous episodes, he's electric, and every time he gets him the ball, he gets a 7 to 10 yard chunk. So I don't know why they don't give him the ball more, which is kind of odd.
I don't know either. I thought he was going to be the main guy anyway. It's just, I guess he's just splitting with Chubb, kind of. It's just a weird situation, I think. But also you got, the Lions just were kicking the crap out of Tampa. It's just like Tampa just kind of, and then they started running the clock out at like third quarter. I bet the over and lost. I did hit Cade Otton over his receiving yards. But I was just like, how the hell is these 2 shitty defenses, winning today? And there were so many injuries for the Lions, yet,
Oh, yeah, the whole secondary is gone.
I feel like there's a lot of little tugging and stuff. Some hands not called by that crew, but it was just weird. You have a perfect situation in a dome, no weather. I don't know. Hard to explain football sometimes, man.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple of drops too by a couple of Baker's receivers too, but Baker wasn't definitely on tonight either. So yeah,
4th down conversions were terrible in the red zone too. That's what got us early.
Yeah, that's what killed them. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into bye weeks, Dave. We're looking a little scary, getting close to Halloween.
Yeah, Bye-Mageddon this week. This is a huge bye week. This is going to kill a lot of people this week. We got 6 teams on bye this week. First one is the Cardinals. Kyler Murray didn't play again this week, but you're going to get him on your bench anyways. Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride. Those are the major ones. So you're not really starting on any of the running backs right now. Those are all actually 3rd and 4th string running backs playing right now. We'll get into that in a minute because Zonovan Knight, Bam Knight, I didn't really expect him to take that lead back role, but he did. But we'll get into that a little bit here. The Lions, who are playing tonight, they need the bye week after all those injuries to their secondary and their defense. But definitely getting out both running backs. Gibbs looked really good today. Montgomery, Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Laporta. So Lions is a big one this week. They have a lot of stud fantasy players on their team, so that's definitely a big loss for a lot of people. Jaguars, Brian Thomas. We'll talk about with the injury to him. Trevor Lawrence, maybe Travis Etienne, probably him. Travis Hunter, possibly. They're really not. And tight end, he's injured, so you're not really starting at tight end. Brand Strange, but he's on the shelf. So Raiders, there's not many Raiders you're probably starting these days. Ashton Genty, maybe Geno Smith. I don't think he's even a borderline starter anymore. I've dropped him in quite a few leagues already, actually. I don't think you're starting him. Brock Bowers when he's back, but they don't have Jacoby Myers. You're not really probably starting any of the receivers. Trey Tucker's actually had a good year for them. So if you have him in any leagues, definitely put him on your bench. He's probably the best receiver right now. The Rams, this is another big one. This is going to be some losses for quite a few people this week. Matt Stafford. He's probably the surprise quarterback of the year here. He's been balling out big time this last couple weeks.
Huge.
He's been huge, yes. Kyron Williams, you got to get him on your bench. Devontae Adams had a huge game. Puka Nuka, he's injured, but you got to get him on your bench anyways. Higbee's probably not a starter anyways. But those are the major ones for them. Seahawks, that's another big one. Both running backs. I don't know who you're starting really out there for either one of those running backs, though. Kenneth Walker, borderline starter, probably Zach Cabernet, borderline starter. JSN, who looked good tonight again. He's actually been playing awesome too as well. I really like him a lot. Traded for him last year for Nick Collins, and I'm looking back on that trade. And Bucky Irvin. I got Bucky Irvin in that trade too. So, yeah, loving him. Sam Darnold, who's actually having a great year as well. Get him on your bench. Cooper Kupp, he's probably borderline right now starter. AJ Barner, who's actually had a decent year at tight end. And that rounds it out.
Yeah. I mean, fuck Jameson Williams, though. He got me 0 points today. I need 6.5 to win an ESPN freaking goose egg. And it's because they were just, like I said, were running the ball. Tampa wasn't putting. Yeah, every time he caught a ball, there was a penalty or something. It always took it back. It's just this crew sucked. That's how it is, man. Sometimes. Trade question. Bobby, the FP.
Oh, nice.
What's up, Bobby? Trade Brown and AJB for Ibuka. Well, I got to tell you, Chase Brown has not been that great lately.
No.
And Ibuka is going to be the number one receiver now I'm expecting Evans to be freaking toast right now, right? That looked bad when he dropped that ball. It's like he had it and the arm just went dead. And he dropped the ball. I got to imagine Evans is out at least a month, probably 6 to 8 or longer. Could have been a torn labrum or something. You can't play receiver with a torn. You can't put your arms up in the air with a torn labrum, dude. Trust me, I have one. AJ Brown for AJ Brown is so hit and miss. I would do that. If you have some backup running backs, I don't expect Chase Brown to be great this year. I know Flacco's there, but that's just, how he is. He's a one-hit wonder. So I kind of like the trade, Dave.
Yeah. Chase Brown, like you said, he had a good week this past week with Flacco under quarterback. He probably had his best game of the year, actually, but still, for fantasy purposes, it still wasn't that great. It's essentially AJ Brown for Ibuka. Actually, I like Ibuka better just because he's the number one there. Godwin's hurt. Evans is hurt. And then they're playing a couple other young guys. So, yeah, I think he started out red hot. He's kind of cooled off the last couple weeks, but I think going forward, he's still going to – he had a ball tonight he should have a touchdown on. So, going forward, I like Ibuka probably better than A.J. Brown. Plus, they have Devontae Smith, who takes away some of the targets there, too, as well. Ibuka's probably going to be the number one going forward, just like Kiev said. The Evans injury didn't look good tonight. They already said it's a concussion and shoulder injury, and it could be a major shoulder injury, too, like Kiev was saying. So, we don't know yet on that, but definitely Ibuka's going to be the number one there going forward.
So even when McMillan comes back, it's a time where you got to shift now that you got some value back on Chase Brown, and I'm guessing you have some running backs. Obviously, if you don't, then you're creating a hole for yourself. So Saquon Barkley just demands so much attention from Jalen Hurts too. So the hell with AJ Brown. I didn't start him last week, and of course he went off. But I can't trust him week to week anyway. That's going to happen. Let's move on to key injuries. I don't have a lot. I have some quarterbacks banged up. It looks like some are maybe heading to a bye, though. We got Michael Penix. Actually, he just came off the bye. Sorry. He had a late ankle sprain in his day-to-day. I think he's going to be able to play next week. I mean, he's playing the Dolphins. I hope he is. If not, the backup there, Kirk Cousins, is not too much of a downgrade from him. Tight end Cole Kmet had a back injury for the Bears. wide receiver Dontavian Wicks again came out. He seems to come out every single game. Calf injury for the Pack. Good comeback for the Pack, though. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the Aaron Rodgers revenge game coming up next Sunday.
Oh, this is gonna be a great game. Can't wait.
Oh, I bet both sides are just. Oh, they're gonna sell the shit out of this one. Tight end Darren Waller, the baller, had a 0 and a pec injury. Did not return to the game. Goose egg for Waller too. He was so much promise in Miami. If he can't play this week, Miami is so. They just got nothing there. Running back Kendre Miller had knee injury. Quarterback Jaden Daniels had a hammy. He can miss time. I don't know. He already missed a bunch of time, and now he's going to miss more time. I don't know. Here's the thing with Washington. It's if I were them, I would just keep resting guys until they're all ready. Quit getting them freaking injured. It's too bad because they're going to be a fringe playoff team now. They're not guaranteed. Bryce Young came out as well with an ankle injury, so you got to watch that for Carolina. And Mike Evans, just like I said, massive injury to his shoulder, and so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and then we got Brian Thomas. Actually, he had a shoulder injury too. He didn't play. He came out of the game this week. And then, like you said, Bryce Young, they already said it's going to be a multi-week injury, so Andy Dalton's a possible pickup this week. They said it could be 3 to 4 weeks, actually, for Bryce Young, they're saying now. They're still getting tests back on him, but they said it could be a multi-week injury, which is not good. Max Crosby, one of the better IDP guys out there, he had a back knee injury. He should be okay moving forward, though. And then, like you said, Kendre Miller had that one as well. And then that's pretty much it. And then Jaden Daniels, that's the major one. Hammy again, still with him too. So Mariota came back in. So probably just kind of transition right into the pickups this week then. So I'll go into pickups. Marcus Mariota, you're going to pick him up for that Jaden Daniels injury. Andy Dalton, you're picking up for the Bryce Young injury. Those are two big injuries to them. And then we actually, DeAndre Swift, his backup actually looked great this week. Gane, I know I butchered the name, Kiev, but he actually had a great game. 81 yards and a touchdown and 13 carries, actually. It was a little bit of garbage time, but I think they're trying to do like the thunder and lightning kind of thing here, kind of like they did with Detroit. So Ben Johnson's going with that approach there. Oh, they actually called it something different. They called it Sonic and Knuckles is what they called it, which I don't like that. I like the Thunder and Lightning better. That sounds kind of lame.
Well, but I think they had didn't they have Thunder and Lightning with LaDainian Tomlinson and
no, it was the Giants. Thunder and Lightning was the Giants. Oh,
Josh
Dane and
Josh Jacobs, right? Yeah. Josh
Jacobs. He was the Thunder. But yeah, then Rondé Gadsden had a huge game this weekend. He's been playing well the last couple weeks too. He's almost a fringe starter right now. 164 yards, 7 catches, and a touchdown. So definitely grab him. You're going to need bye-week tight end. You're starting him this week for sure. Keyshawn Butte, we talked about him last week, so I'm not going to go too much into him, but over his last 3 games, 7 catches, 153 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Had a touchdown again this past week. So if he's still out there, definitely grab him. He's definitely going to be starting this week for you. Xavier Legette, guy we kind of forgot about. Number 1 draft pick in 2024 by the Panthers. He had a huge week, 11 targets, 9 receptions, 92 yards, and a touchdown. He's a big guy, too, 6'3", 227, so he could be that red zone guy that they need there. Andy Dalton, they'll get him the ball, too. Andy Dalton can still play, so their offense could still be decent the next couple weeks. Parker Washington, he's going to get more looks as well with the Brian Thomas injury possibly. Taj Spears, he's been taking over. We kind of talked about him last week, so I won't really go too much into him. Chimara Dike, actually, ex-Badger, he looked great this past week. With Kelvin Ridley, that's one of the injuries we forgot to talk about. Kelvin Ridley was out this week with a hamstring, so his replacement is going to be him. Dike has actually been playing well. He had 4 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown against the Patriots, who have a pretty good defense. So definitely looking at picking him up if possible. Brashard Smith, he actually played more than Kareem Hunt this past week and got more carries and more receptions. He might be that third down back going forward, and they've been talking like they want to make a change there with the running back struggling a little bit in Kansas City. So Brashard Smith, he had 5 catches for 42 yards this past week, and he could get more carries going forward as well. So definitely like him. Malik Washington, like we were just talking about, they're just looking for able bodies right now. Julian Waddle should still be the number 1 there, but he didn't really do much this past week. He kind of struggled this past week. Tua struggled in general, just so the whole offense did as well. But Malik Washington going forward could get quite a few looks as well. What do you got, Kiev?
I like it. Malik Washington for sure is getting a lot of targets. I don't know what the hell. Maybe he's trying to replace Tyreek Hill. I don't know. Yeah, I got a lot of the same. Pat Fryermuth had a great game. Can you trust him? I don't know.
Yeah, he did too.
It's just a week of buys. So this is, we're trying to get you through your bye weeks, right? I think Noah Fant, even tight end for Cincinnati.
He looked good.
Yeah, he looked good last week. Marvin Mims finally did something for the Broncos. Is he trustable? Not really, but this is a bye week. Orlando.
Another Bronco would be Troy Franklin too. I like, actually, he had a touchdown this past week, but they have too many weapons there. It's almost like the Packers. They have so many weapons and they spread the ball around so much. You can't really have one stud receiver there, except for Sutton. Other than him, though.
Yeah, I agree with Kyle Monagai from the Bears. 13 carries against Saints, touchdown. He went off. Pat Fryer. I said Pat Fryer. Oronde Gadsden, dude, for the Chargers. 9 targets? Oronde Gadsden, tight end?
11. He had 11 targets. I just talked about that.
Okay, was it 11 targets and 9 catches then? Okay. He went way off. Okay, Devin Neal for the Kendry Miller injury also could be okay because Kendry Miller, I don't know if I mentioned, he actually went out last game. Well, quarterback Kirk Cousins, here we are. If Penix can't go, you better handcuff with Cousins because you got to freaking match up against the Dolphins. You got to be starting a quarterback, DFS or anything in this situation, right? That's what I think.
Exactly, yeah.
Colson Loveland for the Bears.
Yeah, Dolphins and the Jets defenses are both just horrible. You start whoever you can against either one of those teams right now.
Yeah, they're
just both a mess.
Yeah, they're like UMass versus Kent State. That's how they are. Andy Dalton, if you hate yourself, but I would rather grab Tyrod Taylor even. Dude, Dalton's so bad. I mean, Taylor's bad too, but man, they're desperate out there in New York. I wonder if they sneak one against Cincinnati. I don't know. I still kind of like Cincinnati this game. We'll get into that later this week. Marcus Mariota. Got to do that for the Daniels injury. Got to pick up Mariota, and so that's huge as well. Sleepers, non-starters, trending up for Week 8, and I'm going right back to Rondé Gadsden for the Chargers. They seem to like him there, and you know how Harbaugh is. He likes finding guys off the scrap heap and making them look good. It's just his little thing he does. Tight end Colson Loveland versus the Ravens. Does it look for the Bears, especially if Kmet's not going to play? Breece Hall, actually. I don't know if you've been benching Breece Hall because the Jets suck ass, but he could have a good day against the Bengals run D, who's got a terrible run D, so you got to start Breece Hall this week. RJ Harvey against the Cowboys could be a hit, too. Tyler Algier against the Dolphins could slap. Tight end Kyle Pitts against the Dolphins, massive. You might be starting Kyle Pitts. I don't know. Darnell Mooney against the Dolphins as well. Emeka Ibuka against the Saints now is huge. I don't know if he's a start. He probably is a starter anyway, but everyone benched him this week because we all thought he was hurt. Dave? And that was...
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so it's like if you had Ibuka, you benched him, but he didn't do that much this game anyway. They only had 9 points. T. Higgins, nice matchup against the Jets. How about T. Higgins this week? Andre, I hate saying his name. Iosivas. I hate saying it. Against the Jets is big time. And that's like...
Yep, I like that one, actually.
Yeah, a little Cincy sleeper there. Travion Henderson against the Brownies. Maybe some garbage time, if they're beating up the Browns pretty good. Browns coming off a nice little win. Maybe letting down a little bit. Wide receiver Kayshon Boutte for the Patriots looks good against the Brownies as well. That's my non-starters trending up. What are yours?
Well, the Steelers' pass D is just horrendous right now. That defense for the Steelers, man, they used to be so dominant back in the last couple of years, but their pass D is just horrible. They got torched last week by Joe Flacco of all people. Flacco. I like all the Packers receivers this week for sure. Like I like if Wicks plays, I like him. I like Golden. I like Dobbs. I like the Packers wide receivers against that poor pass D for the Steelers. They definitely have been struggling. Chiefs, I like Brashard Smith, who I talked about, and Kareem Hunt. I think both of them could have a big game. Particularly, you're probably starting already, but I like those two, Hunt and. But I think Brashard Smith actually has taken over the second back there, though. So I like him this week. He could be a sleeper. Colts, Alex Pierce. We didn't talk about him on pickups, but he could be a nice sleeper this week if Downs doesn't play again.
Yeah, Alec Pierce is huge. He was huge last week.
So he could be a nice one against the poor Titans D. Titans D is just horrible right now as well. If Downs plays, I like Downs too as well. I like both those guys. I like that. I like RJ Harvey pick. I like Franklin too against the Cowboys D. They just be giving up points left and right. So I like Troy Franklin and Mims. I like both those guys. I like the Harvey pick too, like you said. Definitely like that as well. Rashard White could have a good game against the Saints. They still have a decent run D, but I like him. He didn't really do much tonight either. I think the Buccaneers bounce back against the Saints next week. I like Ibuke too next week. You're definitely starting him going forward for sure. I like Dart. Dart's been balling out. I know it's not a good matchup against the Eagles, but I like Dart. Dart is a legit quarterback now. 4 touchdowns this past week. He's surprising a lot of people. He's the real deal, I think. So I like him this week. I like those Patriots you named off too. I like Butte, Demario Douglas too. He's actually been coming back. He's out of the doghouse now, and he's been getting more targets and looks now as well in reception. So he's kind of moving back up the wide receiver rankings there too as well. Diggs has kind of been quiet the last couple of weeks, but it's been Butte and Demario Douglas who's been getting a lot of receptions there. So definitely like that. The Bengals, yeah. You're starting them, like I said, the Jets is just a mess right now, and the Miami, those are the 2 worst defenses and teams probably in the league right now. You're starting all your Bengals this week for sure. Noah Fant, like you were said before, I like him this week. Higgins, yes, for sure. You already started Chase, but yeah, definitely those guys. Maybe even Chase Brown might be a borderline starter this week. He's a deep sleeper probably though. I hate to say it, but I like the Dalton matchup actually. The Bills have been struggling in the secondary too, kind of like the Steelers. Not as bad, but I like Dalton this week. I think he's still a good passer. He has decent weapons now too there. That could be a nice matchup. I like the Bears this week against the Ravens. Ravens defense is just in shambles right now as well. I think Monagai and I think Swift have big games. Probably Loveland, like you said, I like that matchup too for them. Penix, I like him this week against the Dolphins. They're just horrible right now. And Algier, that's a nice sleeper to his pick as well. That's what I got.
No, I like it. Going to bus, Dave.
All right, sounds good. Bus, I'm going. I don't like the Texans matchup. San Francisco defense, they just keep winning. And Frisco, their defense is.
They lost another DN.
All these no-namers.
And Huff, but that's how they are. They just pick up guys off the scrap heap and make them look great.
And the defense has been playing really well. So it's like, I don't know how they're doing that with all these injuries and guys that are out. But yeah, I don't like the Texans matchup this week. And Stroud's been struggling tonight too as well. So I don't like that matchup for them next week. I think May could struggle a little bit against the Browns D. The Browns D is still legit D. They give up some yards in the passing game though, but they could struggle. May could struggle a little bit against the Dolphins D. I don't like the running backs this week against the Eagles. I think Dart still plays well. Scatterbu could struggle a little bit against the Eagles this week. You should probably starting him. I don't like Dak's borderline MVP, but I think he could struggle a little bit against the Broncos D. They have a good D as well. Titans, you're not starting any Titans this week against the Colts. Colts have legit D. They're legit like 6-1 too this year. That's no fluke anymore. And I don't like the Steelers against the Packers either. I think the Packers defense playing better and better. They kind of struggled the first half this past week, but A-Rod, I think he could struggle against the Packers this week. And same with Mariota.
Do you think A-Rod's team likes him? I mean, do you see number 77 tackle him in celebration and Rodgers gets up and starts saying, "What the fuck are you doing?" Starts bitching at him all mad. I mean, the truth is that was a pretty hard tackle. I mean, dude, it was like he was also
awesome.
He was also all touchy feely with Rodgers earlier, kind of like all weird, grabbing his waist and everything. I'm like, dude, you better watch yourself there, Rodgers. Don't be alone with that dude in the locker room.
Yeah, dude, he's a prima donna. I'm sure he rubs people the wrong way wherever he goes. Like, I don't think a lot of people at the Jets even liked him when he left there as well. So, yeah, I'm glad Rodgers is gone, man. I like Love. Love is more down to earth. He's not a prima donna like Rodgers was. And Rodgers can still have his good games, but I don't think it's going to be this week against the Packers.
It's going to be interesting, man. You wonder, if the nerves are more on the Rodgers side or if their side. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting game. The Packers are road.
They will be.
The Packers are road favorites at 3 points. So I know the Steelers are overrated, but you just never know with this Tomlin team. It is so weird. I definitely give the coaching advantage to the Packers on this one. Chris McCaffrey could be cold against the Texans too. So, he had a big game last week. I don't know how he just keeps going through all the punishment that this dude takes, man. But we've been saying it for years. But he's getting older now, and I don't know. You're not going to not.
I'm surprised he's still healthy. I'm surprised he's not injured yet. McCaffrey's usually injured by this time of the year.
Yeah, it's shocking to me. It's not like you're going to bench McCaffrey, maybe in like an 8-team league, but I don't think you are. But I just wanted to mention that.
No.
Kamani Vidal against the Vikings is a bad look. Alvin Kamara against the Bucks is kind of bad. I think the Bucks are going to be pissed too after allowing all those rushing yards to Riggs. Tua Tagovailoa. Dude, he's got no one to throw to now. I don't even know. He's almost. I think he's borderline droppable, man. He's bad. He's bad this year. He hates his coach. You can tell. It's just a bad look. Running back Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt against the Chiefs. Not liking that.
Yeah, I don't like that matchup either.
Especially with Marcus Mariota there. They're stacking the box. They're gonna make Mariota try to beat him. Good luck, man. And I don't know if you're like I said, if you're the Commanders, do you play Jaden Daniels against the Chiefs? Nah, probably not. I wouldn't. Zach Ertz against the Chiefs too. So he goes down in value because of the quarterback issue. You figured he went up in value. He did catch a touchdown this week because of that, but now because of all the receivers. But I don't know. We'll see who comes back. Quarterback Bryce Young against the Bills if he's even starting. It sounds like he can be out for a while though. So just put a / Andy Dalton. I don't want to play the Bills after the bye. Caleb Williams against. I don't want to play Caleb Williams this week, man. I love the Bears and they're 4-2 and going to win the division and all, Dave. But Caleb Williams
win the division. Whoa.
I just wanted to. I want to see.
I was just on my seat here.
I want to see if you're awake over there. Hey, you never know, but I would bet it. I would bet it, but Caleb Williams against a pissed off Ravens team. I don't know. Thanks. I'm sure Roquan Smith is back. It's his revenge game against the Bears. No, the Bears had their fun, and they're too young to know how to win yet. They're going to blow this one, probably Chiefs, Ravens.
And Lamar's probably back now, too, I would think. If Lamar's back, this is going to be a tough game for him, I think.
Yeah, Ravens by like 30, probably. It's just one of those bad spots. It's kind of a letdown spot, too, because Dennis Allen got his revenge against the Saints, the D coordinator that was fired, just all those little stories. Any Bear really against the Ravens I'm not in love with. I know that defense of the Ravens is just better than what they showed. And I'll tell you this, I'll be shocked if the Bears go in there, but I'll probably be betting the Ravens this week. Brings us to our nasty sleeper, Dave. Do you want to go first, D Nasty?
Sure. I'm liking the Falcons like we were talking about. I like Penix. Michael Penix is my sleeper this week. If he's healthy and he can play, I like Michael Penix this week against the Dolphins. I think he put some nice numbers against them. The Dolphins haven't really been good this year. So anyone playing them or the Jets, I was going to possibly go Flacco, but I was like, I'm going Penix. I'm going Penix this week against the Dolphins.
I'll give you a Penix as a sleeper. It's not so nasty, though, like mine. I have a nasty sleeper, D Nasty. Mason Taylor. Tight end for the Jets because I think he's going to have a different quarterback. Tyrod Taylor loves throwing to tight ends. They're playing against the Bengals. The Bengals are the number one team to give up fantasy points to tight ends, averaging 10.5. I like the Mason Taylor just to come out of freaking nowhere on your bye week to score a touchdown at least and get a ton of yards.
Love it.
All right.
I like it. That is nasty.
That's nasty, baby. Hey, anything we miss?
I don't think so.
All right, my friends.
Make sure you get all those bye week players out for buying again this week. Definitely get those guys out.
Get them out by Thursday. Get your stuff set. It's important to do that. A lot of people forget about the early game, too. I think we're not playing in Europe this week at least. But, make sure you get all your stuff set up by Thursday morning. Don't forget, lots of buys. Get your stuff in waiver wire Tuesday night. Ours goes Tuesday night to Wednesday. Most do. Most good leagues do. So make sure you check all that out. Thanks for listening to this podcast. If you have any questions for us, feel free to email us at info@theoddsbreakers. Tweet us at the Oddsbreakers. Have a great rest of your week and go get some winners.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.